Wild Bill's Library Workshops. I'm Dan Gall, also known as Dan the Librarian here at the University of Iowa School of Social Work. We are currently in Wild Bill's, what used to be coffee shop, the historic Wild Bill's in North Hall, one of the oldest buildings on the University of Iowa Libraries campus. And we're going to be talking about the top 5 frequently asked questions about the University of Iowa Libraries. And the building that we're in is on the old building on the campus is located in the homeland of the Chippewa, Iowa, Kickapoo, Menominee, Miami, Missouri, Omaha, Osage, Otoe, Ottawa, Ponca, Potawatomi, Sac and Fox, Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, and Winnebago nations, and the Omaha tribe of Nebraska, the Ponca tribe of Nebraska, the Meskwaki of the Mississippi and Iowa, and the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska all have land here in the state of Iowa, and I want to acknowledge that we're on that land, and the university is built on that land. So just to give us a sense of place here, also here at the University of Iowa, we encourage you to wear your face masks. And if you can hear me okay, I'm going to keep mine on while I'm giving this presentation, but know behind the mask that most of the time I'm smiling. Couple quick things. This is being recorded. If you are online, mute yourself when you're not talking, but anybody can use the chat function whenever they want to ask me questions. And those of you in the room, if you feel like it, feel free to ask questions as well. I'm going to skip over this. Those of you who are online, hopefully you know how to do accessibility things. And we can turn on the auto captioning and all as or live transcripts as well if we need to. So feel free. And the thing that we are working on today are the top 5 most frequently asked questions about the University of Iowa Libraries. I'm hoping to use this as a kind of a quick introduction to people about what the library has to offer. So how do people ask these questions? Where did I pull this stuff from? And if you go to the main library website, www.lib.uiowa.edu, and go to our help menu, there is an FAQ that is kind of, I think of it as the frequently asked questions on steroids. It's a database of questions that people ask us. Things that have come in through chat, things that have come in person or by phone. We'll make short answers and put them in this searchable database. So if you are unsure about something at the University of Iowa Library, we probably have a quick little answer about it in this system. It's pretty extensive. We've got a couple thousand answers in here right now, and we edit them to make them as useful as possible. So yesterday, I went in and organized them by the most popular questions to get the top 5. And these are the most popular 5 questions that have been asked of our FAQ. How do I reserve a group study room outside the main library? Where can I print documents? When can I get food at the library cafe? Where can I scan or photocopy stuff? And how can I get a study room in the library's Learning Commons? And I don't like most of those questions. So I took it upon myself. I shouldn't say I don't like them. They're fine questions. I like questions. I like all kinds of questions. But I took it upon myself to rearrange this a little bit and really do the top 5 questions that I think that you need to know about the University of Iowa Libraries. And I've grouped some things together from that initial top 5. And then I've added a few other things in here as well. So the main things I want to talk about are divided into a couple of areas. One is, where can I go? One is, what's available to me. And the last kind of category is who can help. So with deference to David Letterman and his top 10 lists, we're going to do a little countdown here. And feel free, interrupt, ask questions, let me know what you need to know. So the first thing is, where can I study? And in that, the most popular questions, there were two versions of that. One is outside of the library. One is inside the library. And then I'm going to give a little bit of other information as well. So outside the library, in light of COVID and campus buildings being shut down in the past and various other things, the Dean of Students office set up this thing called studentspace.uiowa.edu. And different buildings around campus list available rooms in student space that are reservable through your Office 365 email. And you can find a little room around campus, and they intend this for situations where people who have roommates and other things need some privacy. So counseling sessions, online meetings, interviews, recordings, stuff like that. I unofficially know that some people do go in and use them just to study quietly, although that is not their intended use. So studentspace.uiowa.edu is a useful thing outside the library. In the library, however, there's a couple things that are useful to know. So in the main library, we kind of unofficially, semi-officially, we have some areas that are designated quiet study and areas that are designated for group study. So generally all of the first floor, we assume people are going to be working together on things and making noise. So there's pretty much nowhere on the first floor that is effectively a quiet study area. There are other places further up in the building that are quieter, and there are some rooms that you can reserve as well. So if you go to the service desk on the first floor, where the Learning Commons meets the actual library part of the library, you can get a map to where the quiet study areas are. Find a good spot. People have their favorites. You can also ask them if there are any of the rooms available. The other thing that's available on the first floor in the Learning Commons part of the library are the reservable study rooms, which you can reserve through Office 365. And also there's a little keypad on the door by each of them, and you can reserve that kind of directly right there. They have doors, they have walls that you can write on. They give you some little bit of privacy, and they are intended for group study. They fit, I don't know, probably you could cram maybe 5 people in there or so. They look like they should be soundproof, but I can tell you they're not. But they do give you a little bit of protection from distraction. So you can use those in the main library as well. When you're on campus, frequently you want to print stuff off or somehow get something from print to an electronic format so you can hang on to it and refer back to it later. So where can I scan or print? There are free scanners in the main library. Most of them are on the first floor. They are designed so that you can put a book on it and open the book up and not kill the spine of the book. But they work pretty well for just flat sheets of paper as well. So you can think of them as a photocopier that doesn't spit out paper. It just, makes a scan for you. They are enabled on the campus email network, so you can email things directly to yourself if you want to. But I have found from bitter experience that the email program doesn't like more than about 10 pages or so of content. It doesn't like large files. So I recommend bringing a USB drive if you've got a lot of things that you want to save. You can also have it printed out, scanned into different file formats. You can make pictures and things. And particularly, you can make machine readable PDFs. for accessibility uses. It's not perfect, but it does help. The other thing that people frequently want to do in the library is print stuff out. And one way I can describe this is the library has nothing to do with that. We are on the same printing network as anywhere else on campus. However, ITS in their wisdom did put a bunch of different printers in different places in the library. So we probably have a pretty good collection of printers you can print things off, whether it is something from your icon site or your email or any of the electronic resources that the library has. And, you know, we do a little bit of maintenance on them, not much, but really they're ITS's things. And in that FAQ, if you look up printers, you can get more information about the ITS printing network and how to troubleshoot it and how to work with it. Having the ability to print things off is certainly useful, especially if you, like many people, come to the library because you want to find information. And one of the things that, surprisingly, in my opinion, people didn't ask on our FAQ very often is, what's the best place for me to look for the information that I need? What's the best research tool? And of course, there is no quick answer for that. So I'm going to fudge this answer a little bit and talk about the library catalog, which is called InfoHawk Plus. It is the thing that you use to find the books and the ebooks and the videos and the other stuff that is cataloged in the University of Iowa Library's collection. It also has this fancy thing that librarians call a discovery layer, which is the plus part. And in there, we have some, but not all of the databases. So in addition to books and ebooks and videos and documents and things, you can also find some journal articles, and I find it to be a good place for general research. The other good place for general research, particularly if you're trying to find articles, is a database called Academic Search Elite, which you can find on our website. Access World News, if you're looking for newspapers, is a good one. But the rhetoric program, which a lot of first and second year undergraduates take, has a really good guide. So if you go to the guides.lib.uiowa.edu/rhetoric, the rhetoric folks, the rhetoric librarians, recommend a variety of other good general databases and general tools for research. And that's actually a really good place to start. So that's my secret tip. Is take a look at the rhetoric guide. We're going to talk a little bit more about where to find good stuff in a moment, but the second most popular question that I think you all need to know is, how can I get books, articles, all of that stuff that I find when I use the library to get information? Couple ways to do this. If you are here on campus in Iowa City, you can go to the library, and the guides to what's where in our building are posted by each staircase and by each elevator. And if you go to the service desk, you can get your own little cheat sheet to tell you where the different parts of our collection are, and you can wander up into the stacks and find the book that you want, and you'll be good to go. Not everybody can do that, however, for a variety of reasons. So another option is to have things delivered. If you look up a book or other things in the University of Iowa Library's catalog, InfoHawk Plus, there will be a little sign that says sign in for delivery options. And you don't even have to get out of your chair. You can sign in with your Hawk ID and password. If it is a book or something physical, you can request that it be sent to another campus library or be mailed to a mailing address, and we will ship it out to you, and you can read your book. But the other thing that's kind of slick about this is the circulation folks in the library have partnered with the interlibrary loan folks who lend a lot of our materials to other libraries around the country and around the world. And they have a pretty slick system where they will scan parts of books and deliver them electronically. So if you only need a particular chapter, you don't need the entire physical book, you can request that that chapter just be scanned and delivered to you online, which is awfully convenient. So in addition to the physical act of going up and getting things off the shelves, you can have us do some of the legwork and deliver quite a bit of our collection electronically. So check that out in InfoHawk Plus. And the #1 most ought to have been asked, according to Dan the Librarian, question about the University of Iowa libraries is who can help me find the good stuff. As a lot of folks know, the University of Iowa Libraries is pretty big, and we have a lot of stuff, and librarians tend to like spouting off statistics about the size of our collection, and I never remember any of them. So I'm just going to tell you that there's a lot of stuff there, and it's pretty easy to get lost among all of the wealth of information that is available to you. Being busy people who do not wish to get lost. One of the cool things about the university libraries is there are folks who can help you find stuff. So there are people like me, who I am a research librarian. You can find us under the help menu on the main library, and you can ask questions by chat, by email. I highly recommend using the schedule feature to set up an online meeting with a subject librarian. We'll talk about them in a minute, to have a little bit more time, spend a little bit more time on your individual research needs, and we can provide a deeper level of service and hopefully save you some time and frustration getting to where the good information is. You can also call the service desk at 319-335-5299, and they should be able to transfer you to whichever librarian happens to be on duty. But I can tell you right now, there's a better way to get to the subject librarians. And that's one of the other hats that I wear here at the University of Iowa Libraries. I am the subject librarian for the School of Social Work, which I'm pretty happy about. Everything that's taught here has a subject librarian who, for lack of a better term, is an expert in that, at least in the research in that area. And each of us puts together different guides, like that rhetoric guide I mentioned earlier, to highlight the good stuff for that particular area. So especially as you get more involved in your higher level classes, there's better sources than Academic Search Elite and our library catalog for a lot of the research that you're going to need to do. So if you go to guides.lib.uiowa.edu, or you click the guides button on the University of Iowa Libraries website, you'll get to a searchable list of all of the different guides we have. You can look it up by academic department. You can type in keywords and try to find things. And the advantage of working with a subject librarian is we get to know the different resources that are targeted or that are most appropriate for whatever it is that you're studying. So for social work, for me, I'm pretty familiar not only with the kind of heavy hitter social work databases and the journals that are often used for social work. I also get to know the instructors a little bit. I am familiar with the assignments that they give. I don't necessarily get familiar with their grading rubrics particularly. That's still up to you, but I have an idea of the kinds of things that they're looking for, what their standards are, what they're trying to accomplish with the different assignments that they give you. And I can often send you to a research source, come up with search strategies to help you quickly-ish and efficiently get good articles or other sources of information so that you can do well in those assignments. So remember the subject librarians, find our guides, and each of us also has our individual phone numbers and emails listed, as well as places you can set up an appointment to meet with us online. So those are the top 5 questions that I, Dan the librarian, really wish that people had asked most popularly from our FAQs. But remember that FAQ is there. There's a lot in there. If you're not sure quite where to start, that might be a good place to go. If you are not quite sure where to start, come talk to me. Thank you. If anybody has any questions, I'm going to stick around for a little bit. Let me know what you need to know. And thank you all for coming to the University of Iowa and using our libraries.